Okay, so you want to start a business. Awesome. But it's about more than just a great idea, right? Today, we're opening up the Startup Playbook to look at the absolute fundamentals, the things that can make or break you right from the get-go. These are the choices that separate the success stories from the ones that never get off the ground. So let's get right to it.
So, you have it, that amazing one-in-a-million idea. You know, the one that keeps you up at night, the light bulb moment. But now what? What's the actual first step you take? I'm not talking about the daydreaming part, but the first real concrete move that starts turning that idea into a real, live business.
Well, it really boils down to two fundamental things. First, where are you going to operate? And second, how are you going to measure if you're actually winning? It's kind of like the opening moves in a chess game. If you get your location and your finances figured out from the start, you're setting yourself up for success. But if you mess these up, man, you're playing defense from day one.
All right, let's tackle that first big piece of the puzzle, choosing a home for your business. And I mean, this is so much more than just picking an address on a map. It's about planting your flag, you know? It's about deciding where your brand is going to live and breathe in the real world.
So, first up, you've got the classic option, brick and mortar. We're talking about a real physical place, a storefront, an office, a workshop. And look, this is a huge commitment. The stakes are really high. It's actually a proven fact that a bad location is one of the biggest reasons new businesses go under. Seriously, if you get this wrong, you are fighting an uphill battle from the moment you open your doors.
Then there's the other end of the spectrum, the home-based business. This is like the classic scrappy startup story, right? And the appeal is super obvious. Your overhead is low, you have a ton of flexibility. It's really the perfect way to test out an idea without having to, bet the entire farm on it.
And of course, we have to talk about e-commerce. This is the ultimate game changer. The internet could not care less about your zip code. It's the great equalizer, right? It lets a one-person operation in a garage go head-to-head with some massive global corporation. Suddenly, your potential customer base isn't just your neighborhood, it's the entire planet.
Okay, so let's say you do decide to go with a physical location. How do you find that perfect spot? Well, it's not about getting lucky or just picking a place that feels right. There's actually a science to it. There's a whole framework you can use to make sure you're making the smartest choice.
So what is that science? It's not about throwing a dart at a map, that's for sure. It really boils down to these 5 key factors you see here. You've got to think about everything. How easy is it for customers to get to you? What's the business environment like around you? Can you get the resources you need? And yeah, of course, can you actually afford the rent? That perfect location, that sweet spot, is where all 5 of these things just click into place.
And to make this super practical, here are the exact kinds of questions you should be asking when you're out there, boots on the ground, scouting locations. Like, who are your neighbors? That can totally affect your foot traffic and even how people see your brand. And here's a big one. What happened to the last business that was here? That can be a massive red flag, or maybe an opportunity. You also got to know if the area is on the way up or on the way down. That tells you what you're in for long term.
But let's be real for a second. You could have the most perfect, beautiful storefront in the best location in the world, and none of it will matter if you're bleeding cash. So now that we've talked about where to plant your flag, we need to talk about the lifeblood of the whole operation, the money. It's time to switch gears from the map to the math.
Okay, so when we talk about financials, there are really 2 main documents that you absolutely have to get your head around. First is the income statement. Think of this like a movie of your business's finances. It shows the story of your profits and losses over a period of time, like a month or a year. Then you have the balance sheet. If the income statement is a movie, the balance sheet is a photograph, a single snapshot in time that tells you your financial health on one specific day.
So a great way to think about these statements is like a report card for your startup. Seriously. They're not just a bunch of boring numbers on a page. They tell a story. They show the results of every single decision you've made, and they tell you, black and white, how your business is actually doing.
Let's break down the income statement first. It's pretty straightforward, really. It tracks the money coming in and the money going out. You start at the very top with all your sales revenue. Then you subtract the direct costs of making what you sell. That leaves you with your gross profit. From there, you subtract all your other operating expenses, things like rent, marketing, salaries, and what you're left with, way down at the bottom, that's the number everyone cares about.
And that final number, that's your net profit, the bottom line. This is the holy grail. It's the clearest sign of whether you're succeeding or not. But here's the thing, especially for a startup, this isn't just about money you can put in your pocket. It's about having capital to reinvest back into the company to fuel your growth. It's the engine that's going to power you to the next level.
Okay, now let's look at the balance sheet.
The name really says it all. It has to balance. It's simple, really. On one side of the sheet, you list everything your company owns. These are your assets. On the other side, you list how you paid for all that stuff. And there are only two ways. You either used someone else's money, that's debt or liabilities, or you used your own money, which is your equity. And here's the magic rule. Those two sides always have to be equal. It's like the fundamental law of gravity for accounting.
So why does this matter so much? Well, because every big decision you make shows up on your balance sheet. Take buying equipment, for example. Look at this data here. A huge majority of small business owners, over 85%, prefer to buy their equipment instead of leasing it. Now think about what that does. When they buy it, they add an asset, the equipment, to one side of the balance sheet. But they probably also added debt to the other side to pay for it. See? It's a classic business trade-off, and it's all captured right there in that financial snapshot.
So there you have it. You've laid the groundwork. You've figured out your location. You're starting to speak the language of finance. You've basically written the first couple of chapters in your own startup story. So the question is, what's next? What's the next play you're going to call from your playbook? Because really, the adventure is just getting started.